everybody. I'm Miss Diva of Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater St. Louis. Welcome to Meth Smart. Today's title, The Big Three. Members will be able to identify the three biggest drug threats to young people today. You will also be able to understand the hazards of using these three substances. This is one of the introductory lessons in the Meth Smart Kids program developed as a meth education prevention program. This lesson will give you a background on the basics of the addictive substances most commonly abused by young people. Methamphetamine use causes the body several devastating short and long term effects that affect the user as well as those around him or her. Since meth use is a growing problem in production and use, it is essential to give members the knowledge to prevent personal use as well as better equip them to detect others' use and/or production. Tobacco and alcohol are often gateway drugs utilized prior to graduating onto more toxic and deadly substances. As a member, you most likely have participated in the Smart Moves program at your club. This portion of the program is designed to bring methamphetamines into the picture as a serious, deadly progression in the cycle of destructive decision making that can lead to substance abuse. The big three include methamphetamines, tobacco, and alcohol. Meth, the worst of the worst. Methamphetamine is one of the most addictive drugs around. Some people cannot tolerate one dose in their system without dire consequences. Meth addiction is one of the hardest habits to kick. In life, you have choices, but with meth, you only have one chance to make the right choice. Once you try it, you run out of options. You become its slave. You do what meth wants you to do. Nothing will satisfy the craving or relieve the anguish of crashing except using more meth. Methamphetamine is a highly addictive stimulant that affects the central nervous system. It takes the form of a white, odorless, bitter tasting crystalline powder that dissolves in water or alcohol. People take meth to feel carefree, to stay awake, also to escape problems and lose weight.
Meth is used to increase euphoric feelings, carefree attitudes towards life and the user. It gives the user a feeling that nothing is wrong and that he or she is limitless with energy and can take the body to extremes emotionally and physically. Meth is also known for its ability to help lose weight. Those using meth lose their appetite and as a result lose weight at a rapid rate that is unhealthy for the human body. But those who desire a slimmer figure will use meth unwisely to achieve this goal. Often users try to escape problems with their lives by using drugs as a way to exit reality, yet fail to realize that doing drugs is only very temporary and does not solve the problems they are trying to leave behind.
Tobacco. Everyone knows tobacco smoking is harmful. Do you know why? Let's talk about tobacco. Each day, nearly 4,000 children under the age of 18 smoke their first cigarette. Almost 1,100 of them will become regular smokers. One third of all smokers smoke their first cigarette before the age of 14. 90% of all smokers begin before the age of 21. Cigarette smokers account for 90% of all cases of lung cancer. Nearly 95% of lung cancer victims die within 5 years. Cigars and smokeless tobacco are not safe substitutes for cigarettes. They cause cancer of the mouth and esophagus. The nicotine in smokeless tobacco also affects the heart, just as cigarettes do. Tobacco use is associated with alcohol and illicit drug use and acts as a gateway drug. Teens who report having smoked in the past 30 days were 3 times more likely to use alcohol, 8 times more likely to smoke marijuana, and 22 times more likely to use cocaine within those 30 days than teens who had not smoked during that time. The most common situation for first trying a cigarette is with a friend who already smokes. Babies born to smokers are more likely to be born small, premature, or dead. Cigarette smoking is a major cause of chronic disease such as cancer, heart disease, and emphysema. The tobacco burning in a cigarette, cigar, or pipe contains more than 4,000 harmful chemicals. The smoke consists of poisons like tar, nicotine, and water. Well, what is tobacco? According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, tobacco is a plant grown for its leaves, which are dried and fermented before being put in tobacco products. Tobacco contains nicotine, an ingredient that can lead to addiction, which is why so many people who use tobacco find it difficult to quit. There are also many other potential harmful chemicals found in tobacco or created by burning it. How do people use tobacco? People can smoke, chew, or sniff tobacco. Smoked tobacco products include cigarettes, cigars, BDs, and some people also smoke loose tobacco in a pipe or hookah, which is a water pipe. Chewed tobacco products include chewing tobacco, snuff, dip, and snuff can also be sniffed. How does tobacco affect the brain? The nicotine in any tobacco product readily absorbs into the blood when a person uses it. Upon entering the blood, nicotine immediately stimulates the adrenal glands and releases the hormone epinephrine, which is adrenaline. Epinephrine stimulates the central nervous system and increases blood pressure, breathing, and the heart rate. As with drugs such as cocaine and heroin, nicotine activates the brain reward circuits and also increases levels of the chemical messenger dopamine, which reinforces rewarding behavior. What are other health effects of tobacco use? Although nicotine is addictive, most of the severe health effects of tobacco use comes from other chemicals. Tobacco smoking can lead to lung cancer, chronic bronchitis, and emphysema. It increases the risk of heart disease, which can lead to stroke or heart attack. Smoking has also been linked to other cancers like leukemia, cataracts, type 2 diabetes, and pneumonia. All of these risks apply to use of any smoked product, including hookah tobacco. Smokeless tobacco increases the risk of cancer, especially mouth cancers. People who stand or sit near others who smoke are exposed to secondhand smoke, either coming from the burning end of the tobacco product or exhaled by the person who is smoking. Secondhand smoke exposure can also lead to lung cancer and heart disease. It can cause health problems in both adults and children, such as coughing, phlegm, reduced lung function, pneumonia, and bronchitis. Children exposed to secondhand smoke are at an increased risk of ear infections, severe asthma, lung infections, and sudden infant death syndrome. How does tobacco use lead to addiction? For many who use tobacco, long term brain changes brought on by continued nicotine exposure result in addiction. When a person tries to quit, he or she may have withdrawal symptoms including irritability, problems paying attention, trouble sleeping, increased appetite, and powerful cravings for tobacco. How can people get treatment for nicotine addiction? Both behavioral treatments and medications can help people quit smoking, but the combination of medication with counseling is more effective than either alone. Can a person overdose on nicotine? Nicotine is poisonous, and though uncommon, overdose is possible. An overdose occurs when the person uses too much of a drug and has a toxic reaction that results in serious, harmful symptoms or death. Nicotine poisoning usually occurs in young children who accidentally chew on nicotine gum or patches used to quit smoking or swallow e cigarette liquid. Symptoms include difficulty breathing, vomiting, fainting, headache, weakness, and increased or decreased heart rate. Anyone concerned that a child or adult might be experiencing nicotine overdose should seek immediate medical help. Vaping also includes these dangers. The Food and Drug Administration has reported hundreds of serious lung illnesses associated with vaping. The tar and compounds like carbon monoxide are the most dangerous. They greatly increase your risk for a number of problems that may threaten your life. Here are some of the more common ones: heart attack, stroke, cancer, and lung disease. Smokers hurt more than themselves. Smoke inhaled by non smokers increase their risk of lung cancer. Secondary smoke especially harms young children. It greatly increases their incidences of asthma, pneumonia, bronchitis, and colds. What can tobacco use do to your appearance? Hair and clothes may stink, your breath may stink, and it stains your teeth and your fingernails. Alcohol is just another drug. Here are some facts about alcohol use. There are statistics that show students have consumed alcohol more than just by taking a few sips. By the end of high school, more than 37% of students have done so by eighth grade. According to a study by Columbia University, underage drinkers account for 11.4% of all the alcohol consumption in the US. The average teen boy first try alcohol by age 11. Statistics have also shown for teen girls age 13. Nearly 10 million young people ages 12 to 20 reported that they've consumed alcohol in the past 30 days. Teens who start drinking before the age of 15 are 5 times more likely to develop alcohol dependence or abuse later in life than those who began drinking at or after the legal age of 21. About 10 years ago, there were approximately 189,000 emergency room visits by teens under the age of 21 for injuries and other conditions linked to alcohol. Teens who drink heavily are 3 times more likely to try and hurt themselves than those who don't. 9 out of 10 American teens report that drinking is not worth the consequence it can cause. The three leading causes of death for 15 to 24-year-olds are automobile crashes, homicides, and suicides. Alcohol is a leading factor in all three. 56% of drivers aged 15 to 20 who were killed in motor vehicle crashes after drinking and driving were not wearing a seatbelt. The rate of current alcohol consumption increases with age. According to a national survey done a few years ago on drug use and health, from 2% at the age of 12 to 21% at the age of 16 and 55% at age 20. The CDC tells us that alcohol is the most commonly used and abused drug among youth in the United States. Excessive drinking is responsible for more than 4,300 deaths among underage youth each year. Excessive drinking is responsible for more than 4,000 deaths among underage youth each year. Although the purchase of alcohol by persons under the age of 21 is illegal, people aged 12 to 20 years drink 11% of all alcohol consumed in the United States. More than 90% of this alcohol is consumed in the form of binge drinks. On average, underage drinkers consume more drinks per drinking occasion than adult drinkers. Here are some consequences of underage drinking. Youth who drink alcohol are more likely to experience school problems such as higher absence and poor or failing grades, social problems such as fighting and lack of participation in youth activities, physical problems such as hangovers or illness, disruption of normal growth, unintentional injuries such as burns, falls, and drowning, memory problems, changes in brain development that may have lifelong effects, death from alcohol poisoning. In general, the risk of youth experiencing these problems is greater for those who binge drink than for those who do not binge drink. Drinking early in life is associated with development of an alcohol disorder later in life. Alcohol will sure to make you more attractive. If you drink a lot, you can expect to put on weight. It's not just the calories in your drink. Alcohol affects your appetite too. That's why you're more likely to end up eating chips at the end of the evening instead of a good dinner. Too much alcohol can cause the small blood vessels in your eyes to swell, giving you the bloodshot look. Alcohol increases the blood flow to the skin, causing broken veins, especially around the nose and cheeks. Although the liver gets rid of most alcohol, a small amount is excreted straight through the breath and sweat. Drinking will cause you to lose your balance, bumping into things, and so you're likely to end up covered in bruises. It can also make you aggressive and more likely to end up in a fight, so you could have more scars to try and hide. Taking care of you. What every child should know if they have no choice but to ride with a driver who has been drinking. First, sit in the back seat, buckle up tight, and use your booster seat if necessary. Put all your belongings on the floor. Don't bother the driver. Be quiet. Tell a trusted grown up immediately about any unsafe ride. This has been Meth Smart, the Big Three. Thank you for hanging out with me today, and I hope the information becomes useful to you. Also, make sure you stay safe, stay healthy, and have a beautiful rest of your day.